are. Yeah, we're on. This is Fraley's weekly vlogs, which doesn't turn out to be weekly all the time, but that's cause I have to be motivated what to say. So I usually collect my thoughts, and I could do it more often, but I have other things I like to do. Even came into some new things I like to do. I'll show you what I'm talking about just in a second. Let me see. I started doing guns now, believe it or not. And this is the gun I got. I don't know if you can see it. Let me see if I can make it bigger. But it's a Smith & Wesson SD9 VE. It's one of the more practical guns on the market, but it's also known for its value, and it's a pretty nifty little gun. You can get them for anywhere from $300 to $350. I bought this one used, but it looks brand new. I mean, you can't tell it looking on the outside. You'd have to really look to tell it was used. But it fires really good. I went to the range the other day, and well, let me see, was it Monday? I think I went Monday, and the first time I went to that range I didn't have my glasses on and I didn't shoot real well. But this time I went and I shot a lot better. And again, I've had no training with really handguns. When I was younger, I fired on an ROTC range with a handgun, and I didn't really know how to do it then. They showed me, but I didn't have a gun, so I didn't really get to practice. I'm used to rifles and shotguns and stuff, because that's what I grew up with pretty much, because I used to hunt when I was younger as a kid. But let's get off that. But anyway, I did a lot better, and I intend to go back and intend to get my concealed carry permit as well, because I want to go to Oklahoma, and they require you to have a permit there of some sort. So in the near future, when I have the money, I will do it. But let's get back to where I was at. Let's see. And we'll get back over here. Alright, what else I was going to see? I wanted to show you a little bit of a guy that I really like, one of my favorite comedians. I like him. I like him because his name's Jim Carrey. I like him because he can do all these weird faces and stuff. Kind of reminds me of Red Skelton in a way, because he can just
You've made a decision to transcend. He suffered terribly, and he was broken by it to the point of doubt and a feeling of absolute abandonment. So I'm so glad to be with you and part of this. Thank you, Father Greg. Thank you, John. I know thing to they will, and just to stop the spiral. Man, we get up in the morning
and let's start off with liberalism. Just what does the internet say about liberalism? It says liberals want a government see if I can make this bigger. No, I can't make that any bigger, but I think you can see it. Liberalisms want government to focus on doing what is good, including providing what is often referred to as social justice. To do that, among other policies, liberals expect government to A, tax corporations and wealthy and high-income citizens heavily to pay for social justice programs, and B, to regulate business and personal behavior to the extent necessary for social justice. Now, conservatives are a little bit different. They want government to control bad, offensive, and immoral behavior, even if that behavior brings no harm or danger to non-participants. Most often, bad is defined based on the prevailing interpretation of the Judeo-Christian rules, and through conservatives, and though conservatives tend to express belief in small government, they usually cannot resist government programs that serve their agenda, such as family values. So, it shows that at least the conservatives stand on the family issues, and they're big-time believers in religion. And if you don't believe me, anytime they've had a presidential election or they've had elections, just look at the platforms they run on and which group, the liberals or the conservatives, speak on certain agendas. Most of the time, your religious groups and different organizations and stuff pretty much put their bet on conservatives. You don't hear religious people talk too much about liberals. Not too much. They claim to be Christian, but you see a lot of atheists and weird stuff on the other side, the liberals. Now I wanted to show a little bit of the difference between libertarians and populists, though they are similar, and they both claim to be under the conservative agenda. There is slight differences. So let's look at libertarians first. Okay, libertarians believe that goodness is voluntary, morality is personal, human nature cannot be legislated away, and only harm to others should be illegal. And though libertarians believe in limited government as described in the U.S. Constitution, they do not want chaos. Libertarians recognize that government has a clear and critical mission, preserving and enhancing liberty. To achieve that goal, government must A, protect citizens from foreign enemies, B, arrest, try, and punish people that harm or endanger others, and C, make some judgment calls when people's liberties conflict. So, they're more for individual freedoms and rights, whereas you have your conservatives. It's more into small government. Libertarians pretty much are a little bit different in that they believe in limited government. So if you look at the two compared to liberals, these two are both want small government, and libertarians want even smaller. They want limited government. Very little to do with people governing their affairs and what they do and how they live their lives. It's more of an individualistic thing, so long as there's no harm to other people. So if you don't harm somebody else's, or as long as you respect the rights of others and give them the same due course as you would yourself, you're going to be all right if you're a libertarian. So they both sound pretty similar, but I do think libertarians are more individual and they for a smaller role. Now let's look at populism. Populism to me is a little bit different from libertarianism in that it's more of a patriotic thing. Not that libertarianism and conservatives are not, but this is a more nationalistic type approach. It's the whole country getting together for one purpose. Let's look at the definition. And I looked in a dictionary, online dictionary. It said populism is the political doctrine that supports the rights of powers of the common people in their struggle with the privileged elite. Whereas the other two, they didn't, even in our own government, which we tried to get away from the ruling class of Great Britain and Britain over there in the American Revolution. In any government, there's always going to be classes of people, and from time to time, those classes, those upper echelon or the upper elite, as you might, the established people, you might say, the elite, come to abuse their power and abuse their rights, and the people suffer as a result. And because of this, populism pops up. The common man, the individual, the working class, they pop up. Maybe even you can put you might even put some of the small business people or the people with skills in this. But anyway, blue collar people, they rise up and they join together, they band together, and they start nationalist tendencies, and it sweeps the country, and that's basically what's happened in America, and Donald Trump got elected. Let's look a little closer at populism. I got some more definitions on here. This one says it's a political philosophy supporting the rights and power of other people in their struggle against the privileged, here it is. I was trying to read two words together. They got these two words together here. It's the privileged elite. So again, it's the privileged elite. B, the other one, the other definition, is a movement organized around this philosophy. Okay, number two, the other definition, it says the philosophy of the Populist Party, American, let's see, it's going down. Let's see, government politics. It says populism, government, politics, and diplomacy. Says populism is a political strategy based on a calculated appeal to the interests and prejudices of ordinary people. So again, common or ordinary people rising up against the establishment or the privileged or the elitist groups, which that's what happened in our recent presidential election back in November of 2016. Here's another definition: an egalitarian political philosophy or movement that promotes the interests of the common people. Again, the common people. Here's another one: representation of celebration of the views, interests of the common people. Again, the common people. And another definition, and I'll quit with the definitions here in a second. It says populism is the principles and doctrines of any political party asserting that it represents the rank and file of the people. And number two, the principles, another definition of the principles and doctrines of the 19th century American Party, especially its support of agrarian interest and silver coinage back when they changed the system, the money system. And I could go into that a little bit, but that would take a lot of explanation. And a lot of people that know history knows about it. The money wasn't. They had to figure out some way to make the system of money make money worth something again. So they had to back it up with silver, basically. And I imagine at some point, at some time, it's been gold before, and they've used silver here. But anyway, let's don't go into all that. I probably need to read up and refresh my memory on it, because I know I've had that. I had it in college even. But that gives you pretty much a rundown on the... So I consider myself a populist because I believe in the struggles of the common man against the establishment and privileged. I don't know, I've always been on, it seems like I've always been on that end of the spectrum anyway. And libertarianism is kind of, they believe in limited government, so they're pretty good, I guess. But although again, I'm a populist. I'm not a libertarian, but though we're populists, conservatives, libertarians and populists are pretty close. Even though I think libertarians should deal with the struggle of the common man more, because that's what populism is. But anyway, at least we're not liberals and we don't have mental disorders. We may have varying differences, but we're still pretty close. And conservatives, first, everybody thinks Donald Trump's conservative. True, he ran in this election. He ran on that side of the agenda, that side of the wall against the liberals, because that was his best way to get elected. But Donald Trump is a populist, and he's similar to people of the 1800s. Who am I thinking about? Jackson. I got 3 books by him and I haven't read them. You believe that? Although I have studied Jacksonian democracy. Let's see. I still got those 3 books. Andrew Jackson. There's 3 volumes. One of these days, if I have the time and not so busy where I don't have my head filled with nonsense and junk, I might just read those 3 books. It's a 3-volume set anyway, but I won't get into that. Yeah, let's get off here. Let's get into something else. Let's get back over to me. What else do we want to talk about? Yeah, let me see. I had some things picked out here on Facebook. If my dang Facebook don't freeze up on me here. Here's something that somebody sent me a clip that you might be interested in, so I might just show this to you. Here's a clip from a 1981 movie, and I don't remember the name of the movie, but this was sent to me by a guy I know, a friend of mine, and that I go to church with. I guess I'll show this to you. It's a movie from 1981, and it predicts our current world. it's kind of a weird deal. So I'll let you watch this and get your own take
All
on it.
bored now. No? See, I keep meeting these people. I mean, just a few days ago, I met this man whom I greatly admire. He's a Swedish physicist, Gustav Bjornstrand, and he told me that he no longer watches television, he doesn't read newspapers, and he doesn't read magazines. He's completely cut them out of his life because he really does feel that we're living in some kind of Orwellian nightmare now, and that everything that you hear now contributes to turning you into a robot. And when I was at Findhorn, I met this extraordinary English tree expert who had devoted his life to saving trees. He's got back from Washington, lobbying to save the redwoods. He's 84 years old. He always travels with a backpack because he never knows where he's going to be tomorrow. And when I met him at Findhorn, he said to me, "Where are you from?" And I said, "New York." He said, "New York, yes, that's a very interesting place. Do you know a lot of New Yorkers who keep talking about the fact that they want to leave but never do?" And I said, "Oh, yes." And he said, "Why do you think they don't leave?" I gave him different banal theories. He said, "Oh, I don't think it's that way at all." He said, "I think that New York is the new model for the new concentration camp, where the camp has been built by the inmates themselves, and the inmates are the guards, and they have this pride in this thing they've built. They've built their own prison, and so they exist in a state of schizophrenia, where they are both guards and prisoners, and as a result, they no longer have, having been lobotomized, the capacity to leave the prison they've made, or to even see it as a prison." And then he went into his pocket and he took out a seed for a tree and he said, "This is a pine tree." He put it in my hand and he said, "Escape before it's too late." See, actually for 2 or 3 years now, Chiquita and I have had this very unpleasant feeling that we really should get out. That we really should feel like Jews in Germany in the late 30s. Get out of here. Of course, the problem is where to go, because it seems quite obvious that the whole world...
Anyway, kind of crazy. I just thought I'd show that to you. I saw it back over here.
Roger that. Hey boys, we gotta roll!
In the woods.
Shit, sir, this truck's about 1,000 yards.
To
Man, I'm taking you out.
blog about that, but I am thinking about changing
Here, he's alive, but we
the
gotta
name
get
of my
moving
blog.
now.
I'm gonna call it.
Whitey, coming out.
See what I had a good name for it. I forgot the inside.
Let's go, let's go! Moving! Heads up, fast move! Right turn, right turn! We can make it to Rally Point! Sounds good! This will be a hot one, ain't going in!
Talking to a doctor here a while back. Looks like he's going to try and finish it. If they don't get something done with this health care issue and premiums, he's threatening to cut off helping or the other Obamacare is going to fail now too. That's what's going to happen with the Democrats. If they start getting radical in their head and coming up saying, "Oh, it's Comey too." He wants to go after Comey too. So, and he can't keep people. Trump can't keep his people around him working. I mean, everybody keeps getting fired. It's just like on The Apprentice. You're fired. Every other week or something, somebody's getting fired or something. This Saramucci dude or whatever his name is, I don't know how you pronounce it, Saramucci. I guess he was in probably 10 days or less, and he got fired. Now they put this colonel. I think that was a better idea, or not colonel, but this general in charge, and I forget the guy's name. But they put this general in charge, and I think he's the chief of staff now, so it'll be much stronger, and everybody's going to have to report to the general. And leaks leaks are still going on. There's somebody even among Trump, some of his cabinet or supporters in there that he's close to, his advisors, that are leaking stuff out, and he's found out about it, and he's going to put a stop to it. I hope it ain't one of his own kids or whatever. his daughter or sons or whatever. But somebody in there leaking some stuff, and he found out about it. I heard that on Fox News here, on stuff, big stuff, educated people who can help him make good decisions. But at the same time, I think it's got to be his decision, and I think he knows enough about the world. I mean, he's a very cultured man, educated man. He's traveled extensively throughout the world. He knows world leaders probably as good or better than even some of the politicians, because he's done business with them, had meetings with them, and probably vacationed in a lot of different countries all over the world. So he knows all these big wigs throughout the world, and he can get things done. I just think he needs to, while he needs to listen to his advisors, at the same time he needs to show caution toward that and make his own decisions, make wise decisions under counsel, but at the same time make his own decisions.